'82, I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years of life. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, got it!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Johnny, hey!
Yeah, I am rolling.
Josh Arnold Investment, I want to get the term correct, consultant, brings you Garage Logic Podcast, episode number 1673. 57 degrees on this day in 2017 and 15 below on this day in 1886. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Height in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
I can begin this episode one of two ways. I can either to explain to you why anyone 10 years old or younger will never know the United States that we knew, or we can talk about kicking chunks off cars.
Are you taking an informal vote?
Yeah.
I think you know where your staff lies. Joe,
Chunks.
do you know what being ratioed means when it comes to social media?
Of course not.
So, well, that's good. I applaud you for
We
that.
appreciate your honesty.
Being ratioed means you have more responses where people take to the keyboard than you do likes. In the case of the X tweet that Gabriel sent out yesterday, it was a picture of a car with a chunk on it. And the question is, do you kick chunks from someone else's vehicle? Yes or no? Mm-hmm. You got, as of right now, 59 responses and 59 responses, 51 likes. Mm-hmm. And the responses, Joe, are hysterical. Mm-hmm. You have broken the moral code, my friend, by kicking a chunk.
Well, I'm afraid there is some admonishment here.
Did you get some emails, my friend?
I have a number of emails before me. I take it the answer to the question is we're going to go chunking for a while here, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, please. Yeah. I've been waiting for this moment since 5 a.m., Joe.
Do I apologize for accidentally bringing this up yesterday? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail everything.
I don't even, no, you don't have to apologize.
This is what Garage Logic is.
Okay.
Tenuous greetings to you, Mr. Mayor.
Uh-oh.
I am writing in response to the sad revelation that you, as our mayor, are accepting of the kicking off of somebody else's chunk. When my family and I moved to Northern Virginia 8 years ago, I knew that it would come with a price. Out here, we simply do not get enough snow for serious chunks. On the rare occasion they do appear, they are short-lived and insipid. Therefore, for the past 8 years, I have gone through CWS, chunk withdrawal syndrome. To compensate, between December and March 1st, I routinely go around my woods and kick dead tree stumps, fantasizing that they are the sludgy, ugly, sticky, hideous clumps of crap behind all four tires. How I long for the blissful satisfaction of a ritualistic and therapeutic chunk kicking. Imagine my disappointment in hearing that you, of all people, would kick the chunks of others, let alone of those of your own constituents. Chunk kicking is a rite of passage, a tradition, and a source of pride that should not be usurped except for matters of safety. You, of all people, should know how Gumption County boys, as early as the age of 2, watch how their fathers tactically approach each tire and artistically kick off a chunk so that it falls off in one piece. A skill not anyone can master. For you to kick the chunks of another, especially those of your own constituents, perpetuates a kind of physical, social, and emotional abuse that should be grounds for impeachment.
Oh, no.
Wow. An action that should be reserved for governors who defrauded the people of his state. So please, dear Mayor, for the sake of Gumption County and all GL residents, please reverse your behavior and stick to the kicking of your own chunks. Kelly Wing, Cross Junction, Virginia. Well, Kelly, I'm going to answer all of you sooner or later. Here's from Sarah E. Joe, you began the Monday 12-1 podcast stating that you never wanted to hear stories of bouncy houses flying away.
Yeah.
The dummies responded, noting that all banned stories you could suggest, that was certainly not the one on their list. Prior to today's December 3 podcast, responding to a discussion on chunk kicking was certainly not on the top of my list of potential topics to email you about. However, here I am. Hearing you state that it is okay to kick the chunks from strangers' vehicles piqued my motherly instinct. I feel today's societal climate is too crazy and too opportunistic. I fear kicking stranger chunks opens up one to violence, lawsuits, and potentially the now all too common protest. Am I overthinking this? Perhaps. Please just keep to your own chunks. Sincerely, Sarah, a Minnesotan residing in Wisconsin.
That was wonderful, Sarah.
P.S. Although a transplant from the land of rocks and cows to the land of rocks and cows, beers, and cheese, Minnesota is still home. Listening to GL makes me feel at home, regardless of the insanity discussed. Good luck. All right.
May I?
No, you can't. We're not.
Before you read the next one, I just want to read some of these to you from social. From Redhead Ranting. No, car boogers are only for the car owner to kick. From Dave McGuire. That would be like going into the neighbor's garage and taking something of theirs without asking. And my favorite from Jay, I am not a monster. I wouldn't steal that satisfaction from anyone. I myself, Joe, responded, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's chunk.
Yeah. Hail the Flashlight King.
Hail you!
On Wednesday's show, before the topic of the right to kick chunks of winter from a stranger's vehicle reminded me of Dave Moore. In the late 60s, he hosted the Bedtime News on Channel 4 Saturday nights after the 10 o'clock news. I remember it well, but you have to be my age to remember that. And one skit showed him obsessed with chunk kicking. Wandering down a St. Paul street at twice the speed, he removed dozens in a minute. The show is sponsored by Sealy Posturepedic, had Moore doing ads with his brother from Russia, who was Moore on a split screen. It was SNL before its time. I'm a reformed chunk kicker. One time, while performing what I thought was an honorable task, the chunk came off along with a mud flap and a small piece of chrome. Feeling guilty, I waited for the owner, and in the middle of my justification, she said, "No big deal." I'm sure her roommate wasn't happy. From that time on, I kept my kicking to my vehicles exclusively. My slush buster has been part of the winter arsenal since hearing about it on your show. Saves a lot of mud flaps. Lawyer GL or Jim, loyal listener since the first look, got the treatment in the swamp behind the Maplewoods luxurious studios. There's something in this email that also refers to United States we'll never know again. He kicked a chunk, waited for the owner. Waited for the owner out of an ethical and moral commitment, and then she, in turn, said, "Don't worry about it." That's never going to happen again.
Is it ethical and moral, or is it, in my case, just flat out guilt? I wouldn't be able to live with myself.
Guilt will suffice.
Yeah.
Mark Alley King Schroeder. You'll recall that he was emailing yesterday for a squeegee ruling. Mr. Mayor, hail you.
Hail you.
Oh, that was terrible.
Oh, you addressed it
was a
improperly.
weird-
I did it.
yeah.
It was just
You know
terrible.
what?
That was
That
terrible.
wasn't
That was
inappropriate.
Oh, that's
opening.
terrible, too.
You need the setup, Joe.
The bookkeeper and I have heard and will abide by the decision you rendered, much to my dismay. However, no appeal will be made. The bookkeeper is quite pleased and not surprised by your decision and thanks you. The safety factor of the garage floor becoming icy, as mentioned by Kenny, is not one that I had considered. As we celebrate our 43rd anniversary and await the next arriving snowfall, which will undoubtedly bring more dripping and pooling, I will keep the squeegee close at hand as the bookkeeper passes by it without a notice. It has been a fairly mild winter thus far, and spring is only 17 days away. That's right. That's from Alley King Schroeder. He must be a 21ster.
Oh, here's one. No, that's not right, and you shouldn't even have to be told that is wrong.
Hail the Flashlight King.
Hail you.
I grew up listening to your show on 1500 and was delighted to hear from a friend from the Nativity Men's Club about the podcast. While listening to the discussion on chunk kicking, Joe mentioned that youth do not partake in this time-honored tradition. I am a proud father of 3 kids, ages 4, 6, and 9, all of whom are chunk kickers. Teaching our kids to be respectful to our cars as well as others is important. We joyfully let them kick our chunks, but I have had to stop them on many occasions from kicking on other cars, as the accuracy of a 4- and 6-year-old is not that great. On the topic of respecting our own vehicles, 2 weeks ago, while I was on our roof putting up the Christmas lights, our 4-year-old decided it was a good time to practice writing his name, which he is proud of being able to do. Upon my return to the ground, I walked to the side of my wife's van, only to discover the driver's side had some fresh artwork on it. Without knowing which child did it, I loudly said, "Who did this?" And then realized they had left their name on the van. Tommy. Tommy. Well, he felt bad and cried over the artwork. My wife asked him why he did it, to which he replied, "I wanted to write my name." He now knows that's paper and crayons or sidewalk chalk, not minivans with a fiberglass rod he had found in the garage.
Oh, I was hoping for maybe a finger or something like that.
Thankfully, it's just the top coat, and come spring and some buffing compound, I should be able to get it out. But for the rest of the winter, we will enjoy his penmanship on the side of the van.
The Tommy Mobile.
Lifelong GLer Bill, tree lot boss Hickey. You know Bill Hickey?
Yeah, well, but I'm surprised that he didn't know about the Garage Logic podcast already.
I think he did. He just didn't know about the chunk kicking episode.
Oh, got it.
Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
You okay? Are you going to
I
I
am never, as your mayor, going to be placed in the position of pulling a walls on you. And backpedaling and detailing and obfuscating and deflecting. I will not do that.
Instead, what are you going to do?
I'm going to offer 2 things in my defense.
Oh, here we go.
One, I
Loophole.
believe if you rewind the tape
Oh, here we
I think
go.
I said I used to chunk kick the cars of strangers.
All right. Garage Logic.
Oh, no.
And I forgot the second thing in my defense.
You defended yourself to the bitter end, Joe.
I think
You didn't act like you were reformed. You acted like you would go out in the parking lot right now and kick a chunk of a stranger.
Right.
Well, but I did make it clear that you can't kick chunks. See, the public street, I think is okay to kick chunks, but that gets me into trouble because those are stranger cars.
Right.
On gas station aprons and soup, on property that you don't own, you can't kick a chunk. I did say that, and I did
don't
say
think
it's like
you-
the three prices. I mean, it's like the common surface savings and loan. You can't go into somebody's garage and pick a dollar bill off the floor any more than you can go in there and kick one of their chunks.
Tail of the
I
tape
said
will
that.
tell
I
the
said
truth.
that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh,
I see
I
Reavers.
did.
Reavers is looking for it right now. I can see the drool coming off his lower
Well, it
lip.
came up in the beginning of the show. In the meantime, hail the Flashlight King.
Hail you!
I am in need of a ruling. In southern Wisconsin this past Saturday into Sunday, we received around 8 inches of snow. Saturday afternoon, as I came back inside after my second driveway clearing, my handler suggested, boy, we're getting a lot of names for the wife, aren't we?
love
The
that.
handler, the bookkeeper,
yes.
the CP. The
Everybody's
direct-
being creative.
Yeah, the handler. I like that.
That's good.
My handler suggested that instead of shoveling, I should wait it out and use the snow thrower in the back of the garage. I decided not to take her advice. Sunday morning, before the house was awake for the day, I bundled up and went out to finish my work as well as bust up the hump. Upon my re-entry into the house, I was questioned as to why I shoveled instead of using the snow thrower. I explained that I didn't need the snow thrower to finish the work, that I could finish myself. The ruling I humbly request: is it mandatory to use the snow thrower if you own one? And if it is mandatory, what is the total amount of snow needed in order to pull it out of the garage?
What's your
Thank
number?
you, Mark Havlick. It's not mandatory to use it. John Haidt, for example, always shovels by hand.
Always.
But you don't own a snowblower.
I don't. I did for a while and then
Same.
decided I didn't need it.
Same.
I shoveled by hand yesterday, which was merely just to get some steps in. I scraped. There was no snow. It was a dusting. Well, I'm not done.
Oh.
I'm not done.
Well, I have the audio ready.
Okay.
I have a feeling we're not going to get to it, Chris.
Oh, we run out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How long
no,
can we
no,
want
no.
those? Thanks,
No,
folks.
no. We're going to get to it. Before I tell you why anyone under the age of 10 no longer will know the
Oh,
United States.
wait a minute. Now, with me, when I lived in South Minneapolis, I just had a driveway pad in the back. It was my mood. If it was a nice evening or a nice day and it was
Yes.
just a skimming and I wanted to get right down to the concrete, I shoveled.
I think
It was just fine.
I think we all share that outlook.
Yeah. All right.
In terms of is there a mandatory amount of snow needed, I personally would have used a snowblower on 8 inches of snow.
Oh, yeah.
He did not. That's his prerogative.
On Sunday morning,
He is to be commended, though, for owning it. There was an old addendum to the cylinder index, and that is the almost the acceptance or the expectation of using cylinders at every possible opportunity.
Yeah.
So he didn't take this opportunity to use a cylinder.
it's lightly misting. Got to fire it up.
Right.
Yeah.
And finally, it's not really apropos of okay, play the audio. You want to take a break?
Well, I thought you were.
Well, I have something from Jordy, and he wrote a song, and it's
Ew.
well, it's not terribly apropos of chunk kicking.
Are you going to sing the email?
Medicaid fraud, child care fraud, food fraud,
All the way.
autism fraud, housing fraud, transportation fraud, CDL fraud.
Hey,
It's the most fraudulent time of the year.
You combined
I
like three
that.
different Christmas
I'm
songs.
sorry, Chris. I'm really sorry.
No wonder they cut off your microphone.
That's dueling Christmas carols. Do you remember that bit?
it
from
was.
Ed
Yes.
Benson?
Okay, how would you
Yes.
sing it?
Happy
like that.
fraudulent.
Medicaid fraud, childcare fraud, food fraud,
This is worse
autism
than
fraud, housing
carols.
fraud, transportation fraud, CDL fraud. It's the most fraudulent time of the
medley.
year. Huh?
Fraud
No,
medley.
It is.
rejected.
Medicaid fraud. Thank you. We'll take a time out.
Oh, I see how this is going to
Hail
work.
the flashlight king.
No, that's
Hail
wrong.
you.
Hail you.
Wrong.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
It's Positive Thursday already, and like usual, it's brought to us by Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care. They're in Shoreview, 1060 County Road E. Mike Schoonover is here. Mike, we have something serious to talk about, but before we get to that, I would like to ask a question of you. By the way, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, boys. It's good to be with you today.
Mike, do you know what a chunk is? It's that big snow booger that hangs off your car right behind the wheel.
Of course he knows what it is. He's a Minnesotan.
I'm glad that you asked, because I did want to weigh in on this since yesterday's pod.
Okay, good. Good.
And number one, Joe, you got issues, pal.
Yeah.
Hey-o.
You know, you're the mayor of Garage Logic, the Flashlight King, and the Fireworks Commissioner, and
Right.
now a chunk kicker.
Yep.
A kicker of
I
other
love it.
people's chunks, Mike, not just his own.
Yes. So ask away, Kenny. What would you like? My
Well, where do
opinion
you
on?
stand on that? I mean, is it okay for a stranger to come kick your chunk that you've spent miles and hours and days building up? Are you okay with that?
You know, that ranks right up there when your car's dirty and somebody has the kahunas to type, or not type, but write "wash me" on it.
Yeah.
So,
It's just
I'm
rude.
not a fan, but where to do it is, I don't think a gas station is appropriate.
I said that.
But,
I said that.
I know, Joe, I know, but it's like, okay, how about the parking lot? How about the grocery store?
I even included them.
But hang on a second. Are we doing a service to our fellow community members when that particular chunk contains salt and sand, which might be helpful to our elderly of not slipping as people drive over it?
Good point. Good point. Well taken.
Yes. So I'm so happy that I advertise on a podcast that talks about chunk kicking.
Hey, look it, you're a body guy. You got to be thrilled with it because there's a lot of morons who dent the fender.
Yes, or hurt their foot.
Right.
Yeah, or break their foot. Speaking of being a body guy, Mike, I think I've said on the air before, and this morning was a good example, just plan on getting in a crash, because from what I can tell, everybody here is crashing this morning for no reason whatsoever. And I know we've talked about this in the past, but what should GLers, how should a GLer approach this? Should they just be ready to be in a crash?
Well, two things to avoid it. Let's make sure we got good tires on our cars. We are seeing so many customers that have just bad tread. So part of vehicle maintenance is you got to replace the rubber, and if you can afford it, having winter tires and summer tires is really the best way to go. So especially for your spouse or your kids or whatever, get some winter tires on those cars. And then just common sense driving, Kenny. I think that makes all the sense in the world, and slow down. But obviously, for GLers who don't live near us, who can't bring their car to our shop, for those of you who live in outstate or in other parts of the country, or those of you who live in Anguilla, do your research. Go on Google and find out what are the good shops in your area, what are the good shops in your market, because you do not want to take a referral from your insurance company. They are going to send you to the lowest price provider, and they're going to offer incentives of maybe even waiving your deductible if you go to their preferred shop, because they're not going to do you any good. And so just do your own research. You're entitled, or you're free to bring your car wherever you want to go.
And I call that being in cahoots. And Schoonover, you guys are not in cahoots with any insurance company.
No, we are not. We are not on the top of the Christmas card list for any insurance company, because we call bullshit. If there's just so many shenanigans being played right now, and I'm not anti-insurance. We need insurance companies, but I am pro-customer, and we're going to stand up for our customers.
That's wonderful. And what I love about you guys, and I know everybody here on the staff has experienced it, we don't have to, if I get in a crash, I don't have to deal with my insurance company at all. You guys do it all for us. That's so awesome.
That's the way to go, Kenny.
You learn a few things when you've been around since 1938. They are the official shop of Garage Logic, and you all heard why. They're just awesome, always rated as one of the top shops in the metro. SchoonoverBodyWorks.com is the website. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thanks, guys. Have a great Thursday, and thank you, GLers.
See you later.
See you, Mike.
You have some tape from yesterday.
Separate request for a ruling if you're done with this particular one, because
I am done. It's not a complicated ruling, Mark. You got to take care of that.
Yesterday morning, I was fueling up at my Quick Trip location, which I love.
Yeah.
And
why don't they advertise with us?
I don't know. They should be, because I love Quick Trip.
They all sing their praises.
Right. So I'm at the Quick Trip, and I will not reveal the location of said Quick Trip, but I was standing there fueling up. The guy next to me had one of those gigantic chunks hanging from his, I think it was a Nissan.
Yeah.
Another guy walked up.
No.
Kicked it.
Oh.
Not his vehicle. And I went, oh, boy.
No, I have thoughts about that. I
said, you can't kick his chunk.
No. I think chunk kicking is a Minnesota rite of passage.
But not on somebody else's vehicle.
Well, you certainly don't touch the vehicle, but you can touch the chunk.
Joe.
Oh, I've kicked chunks all my life.
Oh, that's like wandering into a guy's bathroom while he's taking a shower and sitting down and going to town.
Oh, wow. What do you mean by that?
I don't think it's
it's that bad.
No, that is trespassing.
Now, if a
of the
car's
highest
on a
order.
public street and you're walking by and there's a tempting chunk,
No.
you get to go for it.
No, you
Now,
don't.
you get to touch the chunk.
See, I'm with Kenny. I always thought the GL rule was you leave another man's chunk alone.
It's like blowing a guy's driveway before he gets a chance to come home and break out his brand new snowblower. You just ruined it for him. It just snowed 4 inches. The guy can't wait to get home and blow his driveway. And there you are, just finishing up when he pulls in.
No, you're conflating two issues. We're talking about chunk kicking. I don't authorize nor lend my endorsement in any way, shape, or form to anyone snowblowing someone else's driveway. That's the female fun limitation factor. That's the phone call you get at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You're at work. It's been snowing for 10 inches. It finally stopped, and you get the call, and she says, guess what? I did the driveway. That's deflating. That's just a horrible.
Just go to a hotel.
Yeah, I mean, that's just horrible. That's horrible.
See, I'm
Chunk kicking? I'm sorry. I'm a chunk kicker. All right. I am guilty as charged. I will have to reform.
Well, I
it's
guess
a big step.
I'm wrong. I'm
you know
sorry
what?
if you were offended.
I appreciate that, Joe. That's what I like about you.
The first step is acknowledging a mistake.
A problem.
A problem. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
It's almost like you're going to need treatment. I mean, you see those chunks.
But I guess the only reason I brought it up yesterday
Might have to go to chunk class.
was because I haven't been attending the University of Garage Logic as long as the rest of you, but
Right.
I always thought that was off limits.
Can you see the group meeting? Oh, Joe, you were doing so good. You'd gone 3 weeks without kicking somebody else's chunk.
I had a relapse today. I was at the store and I came out.
I was at Lund's.
It was so tempting. I just couldn't pass it up. You know.
There are the ones though that are clearly overgrown to the point where that driver has no idea that those chunks even exist on their car.
Well, he brings up a really good point, Joe. What about those people?
I mean, the point where the tire can't even turn; it's so wedged in there.
Yeah.
Those are people who are chunk unaware. They just have never factored the chunking into their life. But now what you're telling me is that's too bad. I just look the other way. You don't want me to intervene.
They're the same people who don't shovel and or snow blow their driveways
And don't
properly.
take the snow off their rear window.
What if you seek permission?
Yes.
Excuse me,
Well, permission's
ma'am.
always acceptable. Yes.
Ma'am, I
You want me to
noticed
get those chunks for you?
you
Yeah,
have
I
4
can get
chunks on your minivan.
I'd like to take care of it for
I can
you.
take care of that for you with a simple kick.
I think that's perfectly
All right.
acceptable.
I think that would be
Perfectly acceptable.
yes.
Now, do you want to know why the United States is over
Let's
for anyone?
please.
10
Please,
years?
now that we've built it up, let's go.
Been doing a lot of thinking. I think the best way to set it up is Ilhan Omar was on CNN yesterday with Jake Tapper.
Yes, sir.
I don't know, was she anticipating friendliness or whatever?
She's always available for CNN.
Okay, that's fine. And I think what you're going to hear here is two different Ilhan Omars, and it will help me explain what I've been thinking about on the service road of life. So why don't you just start that? I haven't heard it. I didn't know she was on there yesterday. I was made aware of that.
You're
right.
Oops, I'm sorry. Let me kill the chunk kicking.
Yeah, I wish.
First of all, federal prosecutors say 59 people have been investigated in these schemes so far. Americans at large stole tens of billions of forms of aid during the pandemic all over the country. Minnesota's fraud scandal stands out, according to federal auditors. What are you hearing from investigators right now?
Well, I've been following the cases closely as they've gone through the courts, and we know that there are more indictments possibly coming. I think that number might go up to 73 is what I'm hearing.
Okay. Can you shed any light on why the fraud got so out of control in Minnesota?
I think what happened is that, when you have these kind of new programs that are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. And I just think that a lot of the COVID programs that were set up, they were set up so quickly that a lot of the guardrails did not get created.
Now, obviously, whatever the ethnic group, the actions of a few dozen should not impugn an entire community of thousands of people.
That was the first segment of that.
Okay, she is a bright, articulate woman. She could not possibly begin to explain the fraud. She would refuse. She's refusing to explain the fraud. She's deflecting. She's blaming it on the quick creation of programs and there being no guardrails, which is she might as well tell me that you might as well rob a bank if there's no security guard there.
Right. Isn't that like saying it's the car's fault that it keeps getting ripped off?
She knows perfectly well who's to blame. She knows perfectly well what must be said about it, and she struggles. She's not going to be able to do that. Now, do you have the second part?
Give me a quick second here, sir.
Because you get a different Ilhan on this part, and that helps me explain my deep musings that I've had about what the hell's going on here.
Is that what you call those?
Yeah.
Musings.
This is going to take a second, Joe. I apologize. My thing just stopped playing. So
that's always a problem, isn't it?
Well, it tends to happen when I'm trying to play a couple of things at the same time.
I don't like the direction that your thought process is going. I look to you to not give up, and that's what I'm sensing in your tone.
You're not incorrect.
Yeah, you're supposed to be the fighter out front leading us. I'm the giver-upper.
Oh, I'll still fight, but I'm going to tell you what we're up against.
Well, just tell me. I can't wait for Reavers.
If we being Western society, us, if we attempt to hold so-called marginalized people accountable for anything, we're racist.
Yeah.
We cannot overcome that. We are racist. We're not, but that's how we're pegged. And if we could ever get to the second part of this audio, you'd sense some hints of that. The idea of assimilation probably is a thing of the past. And I blame that on the failed academy. The failed academy has pretty much instructed the sheep of postmodernism, in which every society and every culture is certainly the equal of any other. So rather than come to this country and assimilate, the Somalis will claim they've assimilated. I would submit to you they have not in Minneapolis. Yes, you're going to find a Somali lawyer, and there's probably a Somali doctor, and maybe there's a Somali guy who has a factory, but I really doubt it.
Are you saying on the whole?
On the whole.
Are you painting with a pretty broad
I know
brush
I
there?
am. I know I am. I'm suggesting to you that the Somali community has not assimilated the way previous influxes of immigrants have assimilated. But they're no different than, I'm sure there are Haitian communities, and there are Somali communities, and there are Hmong communities, and there are Ecuadorian communities, and there are Mexican communities, and there are Pacific Island communities. And one of the proofs I would have of this failure to assimilate is if, in fact, Somalis have assimilated,
yeah,
why didn't we hear from any of them during all of this fraud, including Ilhan Omar? Assimilation would suggest to me that our Somali brothers and sisters would have stood up as proud Minnesotans like we all are and expressed how appalled they were at this thievery. All we got was the typical boilerplate, a few rotten apples can't spoil the batch. Leave us alone. We didn't do this. It was just a few people. Where was the idea that they were part of the fabric of the Minnesota community? And we all were afraid to say that. We're all afraid to say that and so was the governor, and so were the people that work for him. What they were most keenly afraid of is they would rather blow $1 billion than be charged of racism, even though bringing it up would have never constituted racism. For me to question these things has nothing to do with racism. But we've been so trained and so gaslit by the left over the last 50 years that we bring up now anything at all. We're racist. Right. Trump has not helped, by the way. He is so indecent and so amoral that for him to toss around his 8-year-old playground language on this matter has not helped one bit.
Okay, now I'm thinking about the GL haters. And
let them hate me. I don't care. I know I'm on the right path.
Okay, how is your point of view different, other than it's much more graceful? How is it different than President Trump's point of view? Aren't you basically both saying the same thing, or not?
It's different in the sense that I want Western society to quit being frightened of being called a racist and start treating everybody the same. The way Trump's going about it, there's no room there for repair.
Right. All right.
There's no room for repair. Is this the second part of her?
Money during the pandemic. We're talking about dozens of people in a community of thousands, of course. Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar of Minnesota is here with me now. First of all, federal prosecutors say 59 people have been investigated in these schemes so far. Americans at large stole tens of billions of forms of aid during the pandemic all over the country. Minnesota's fraud scandal stands out, according to federal auditors. What are you hearing from investigators right now?
Well, I've been following the cases.
We already heard this part.
I
know.
The
Just
courts,
bear with me, please.
and we know that there are more indictments.
I don't think we have any choice
possibly coming. I think that number might go up to 73 is what I'm hearing.
A lot of ums and ahs.
Can you shed any
here.
light
She can't
on why
handle this one.
The fraud got so out of control in Minnesota?
I think what happened is that, when you have these kind of new programs that are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. And I just think that a lot of the COVID programs that were set up, they were set up so quickly that a lot of the guardrails did not get created.
Now, obviously, whatever the ethnic group, the actions of a few dozen should not impugn an entire community of thousands of people. Okay, I want to make that very clear. President Trump has used this fraud to make rather, to me, shockingly bigoted comments about Somalis in general, including you, but the entire Somali community in Minnesota. He did it yesterday and he did it again today. Let's run some of that.
These Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. She should be thrown the hell out of our country. And most of those people, they have destroyed Minnesota. She should not be, and her friends shouldn't be allowed. Frankly, they shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople, okay? They shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople because they don't represent the interests of our country.
It's pretty shocking to hear it, although I don't know how shocked you are at this point anymore. But Somali immigrants, in general, you in particular, have been the target of his attacks for a long time. What's your response?
Yeah, I'm not shocked because we know that the president oftentimes resorts to very bigoted, xenophobic, Islamophobic, racist rhetoric when he is trying to scapegoat and deflect from the actual failures that he has himself. We know that this administration has not fulfilled the majority of the promises that they've made, whether it is bringing costs down, whether it is the tariffs that are decimating businesses in the United States, whether it is the possible war crimes that his defense secretary is committing. And so to me, it is important for us, one, to remind folks that we are Americans. We're not going anywhere, and we will continue to be in this country. And two, that Minnesotans are resilient, and we will continue to thrive.
What is the practical impact when a president of the United States demonizes an entire group of people based on ethnicity? And again, You can point to any ethnic group and find dozens of people in that ethnic group who are committing a particular crime. The mafia comes to mind, right?
Oh, for God's
But no one, you don't hear people saying that about Italians. They did 100 years ago, but they don't do it today. What is the practical effect on the Somali community when the president says things like that?
I mean, it creates fear. And there is a possible danger that
That's enough.
a lot of the people who follow the president have exhibited violence in many cases, especially in my case, whenever he has said something about me that is derogatory or says I'm a threat to the country. I've gotten death threats. There's so many people that have been incarcerated over the years that have been encouraged by the president's words. And so there is fear for Somalis, not just in Minnesota, but across the country, that some of these people might attack and harm them.
I'd like to hear her say what she will never say. And that would be, look, we fled a country that ranks last by any statistical measure in the world. It's first in corruption, it's first in chaos. It has no government. You're left to scramble on your own. And then through the goodness of the U.S., many of us have been allowed to come here, and about 80,000 of us have settled in Somalia. Settled in Minneapolis, but we have not changed our ways. We brought with us that idea that governments are corrupt. We've brought with us the idea that everything's chaos. We have not accepted the idea that you can excel here if you want, you can achieve, you can learn to speak English. You don't have to all stay in the same Cedar Riverside 12 square block area. You can have a life here. She's never going to say any of that. And I think what's happened, and why I say that if you're 10 years old or younger, you're never going to know the United States, is I don't see this turning around. I see that all of the people who will come to the United States are just bringing their own culture with them and don't have any idea or any interest in adopting what we would know as Western culture. I just don't see it happening because we have been too thoroughly miseducated by the failed academy, too thoroughly gaslit to believe that if any culture strikes us as not... See, what's been sold in the failed academy is that any culture is as good as any others, which is just factually inaccurate. I don't want anything to do with a Somali culture. Not because I'm racist, it's because they don't have one. It didn't work. It doesn't work.
I didn't sign up for this.
It's just warlords and gangs and corruption and thievery, and I don't blame anyone for trying to get the hell out of there.
Right.
But they've brought it with them. Any culture that now comes to the U.S. is merely bringing their own culture because they've been sold on the idea, this postmodernism thought that your culture's as good as ours. No, it isn't. It isn't. But ours is the one that's getting diminished and diminished and diminished because, for example, you saw Fry stand up the other day. He's impossible. He can't say any of this. Mayor Carter's not going to say any of this. They're all afraid of being called racist. This has nothing to do with racism.
It's just,
nothing.
I don't like Somalia and the way they do business.
Joe, do you think assimilation will come naturally?
No.
With the passing of more generations?
No, I do not.
I think I disagree with that.
Yeah, I do too. And basically, recently I've read, because this question keeps popping up in my head, and I started looking at the Italian thing. I know you guys scoffed when Tapper asked that, but it was a great question because Italians were looked at exactly like he said. And according to, if you read social, whatevers, they say it takes 3 to 4 generations.
Well, okay, then you
assimilate.
could say the same thing about the Irish and the Norwegians.
Correct. Yeah. Well, exactly.
Absolutely.
But
That's my point.
But what they brought with them that might have hastened any assimilation is fleeing a country that essentially worked. They might have been hungry. They might have not had the job prospects that they imagined in America, but they weren't fleeing utter corruption and chaos. Scandinavian people who settled in Minnesota basically brought with them a sense of propriety that is not visible now.
I was going to bring up the Swedes and the Norwegians, which, from my understanding, they came for religious freedom and to free themselves from, I guess, indentured servitude. There was just more opportunities in this country, and that's what they came for. And they're the people that came over, like my people in 1883. They couldn't speak a lick of English, but their kids did perfectly.
I'll show you another difference.
All right.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. This is just me on the service road of life. Remember, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but every summer, all the news gatherers on TV and the newspapers would the next day have pointed out that Sven Skarnesdag was held.
Yeah.
Remember that name?
Yep.
It was usually at Minnehaha Park.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Scandinavians would wear some traditional outfits or something, and they'd cook whatever they eat. And it's Sven Skarnesdag. Well, now, I don't even know if they cover that anymore, but the difference is the minute Sven Skarnesdag days, however you pronounce it, was over, they went back to being normal Minnesotans, functioning in Minnesota society.
Yeah.
Well, and now the difference is that's not the case. The Somalis even have their own shopping center, the Carmel Mall in the old Sears store. They don't... I'm sure you can find a Somali doctor, and I'm sure you can find a Somali lawyer, and I'm sure you can find some Somali banking executives. But in the main, as Father Whalen used to say, in the main, it's a group that has remained clustered together and not intertwined themselves with Minnesota.
I think we need a random Somali that we can talk to on a regular basis.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
I have so many questions. Number one, are you proud to be an American? And tell me why. What's better? I just have so many questions that really come from a sheltered, dumb angle, stuff I just don't know that I want to know.
The local TV news gatherers are going out of their way to soften this blow. They're going out of their way to soften Trump's remarks. They're going out of their way to point out that not everybody's. But every film clip I saw last night, a Somali flag was flying, where they would gather to talk to Somalis.
Why can't we say...
Every clip was a Somali, which is virtually identical to that ridiculous new Minnesota flag.
Mm-hmm. But why can't we say, I don't like the way you do things in Somalia? Why can't we say...
We can, and that's not racist.
And that's why they're
racist.
Here. That's why they're here, Matthew.
Right, so adapt. We're not saying you have to do everything American, but you should embrace...
People used to come to America to become Americans. People, not just Somalis, other nationalities and ethnicities also. People now come to America to live in America.
Reagan was saying that in the 80s. You can go to France, but you can't become a Frenchman. In Germany, and people that come to America can become Americans.
Right. And that's not being done anymore.
Right.
So what I foresee in the future is just this growing balkanization of many different cultures existing in the U.S., none of them really appreciating that the American way of life was the best way of life. It worked for the most people. You fled a situation where you had no shot, and now you're here where you have a shot, and all you're doing is retaining your old ways.
I think generations it'll change, but I think right now, obviously, it's really bad right now.
Serious question.
It's the most fraudulent time of the year.
What's your question, Matt?
Is Christmas a target?
No, it's been a target of the left long before Somalis entered.
Sure. They said we're not going to have a Christmas program in school, and we can't.
God has been under attack by the left.
But Matthew, would you expect somebody that practices Islam to come over here and turn into a Lutheran or a Catholic?
No.
In fact, people that work for me love to work Christmas Day because they get time and a half, and It's they're
well, that's kind of
indifferent.
what you're asking. I mean, you can't ask people to assimilate religiously.
No, not at all. But what I'm saying is, will there be generations down the road here? Will Christmas be targeted to just...
No,
well,
it already is targeted.
Yeah, it's
it
already
is, and
holiday.
it had nothing to do with Somalis.
Yeah, or Islam.
No, but I mean,
or did it?
Really targeted. I don't just mean not having a Christmas program.
It's the failed academy has done a successful job in targeting any American tradition or concept whatsoever.
I agree.
Every single one of them. The failed academy has trampled on and predisposed the moron young people who can't even read and do basic math. They sail through the failed academy with degrees in gender studies, and they've grown to hate the United States. It's that simple.
But my question is, will it be removed?
No. And that's what I started the show saying. No.
Okay.
No.
Well, that's a small ray of hope.
Well, it's not a ray of hope. It won't be fixed. It's not going to be fixed.
That it won't be removed. That is my question.
It won't be.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
The GLers, you've been compromised. Oh, heck, I'll just admit it. We've all been compromised. If you're on the internet, you've been compromised by unregulated shysters that are actually making money selling our information, our addresses, our sensitive personal and financial information. And you know what? Our Social Security numbers. They collect it, they publish it, and then they profit from it. And they set us up for scams and identity theft. How to stop it? Really easy. Incogni. Think of them as your security posse. You give them the go-ahead, and they're going to go to work automatically fighting hundreds of data brokers. And it's not just once. They keep at it, monitoring your information because your data reappears again and again on the internet. Basically, every time you log on, Incogni guards your sensitive information like a high-security vault. Get the family unlimited plan when you sign up because it includes custom removals. Now, that means if you find a strange link with your personal information, you send Incogni the URL, and their experts will work to take it down. Secure your digital life right now. Take your personal data back with Incogni. Use code GarageLogic and get 60% off an annual plan. Incogni.com/GarageLogic. Again, use the code GarageLogic and get 60% off an annual plan at Incogni.com/GarageLogic.
Many college students claim to be triggered by the American flag. I rest my case. Here's John Haidt.
Thanks, Joe. This news brought to you by North American Banking Company. Let's go tax news first, shall we?
That's
From
fun,
the Pioneer
too.
Press.
Let's just
you'll
keep paying
like this
as
one,
much
Joe.
as possible while it's stolen from us by walls and by thieves.
The St. Paul City Council voted 7-0 to adopt the city's 2026 spending plan, including the 5.3% property tax levy increase proposed by the mayor, following some $6.7 million in last-minute budget amendments. The added spending, you'll be happy to know, taken from $2.5 million in increased paramedic transport fees, will not result in further increase to the tax levy. Rebecca Noker, City Council President, said, "We made changes that made sense. I hope that we can feel super, super satisfied, and we did that without raising the levy further." So they raised the levy, but she's proud that they didn't have to raise the levy more.
She's super happy about it.
No, super, Joe.
Super, two supers.
That was a direct quote.
Super sex? I'll take the soup.
The mayor's office, not the super, the mayor's office in a written statement praised the what they called strong constructive partnership between the administration and council and said the new spending plan reflects responsible budgeting that positions the city to navigate potential federal policy shifts that could affect local services. For the median St. Paul home with a value of $289,000, the new levy will add about $107 to property taxes with wide variation from neighborhood to neighborhood. Increased charges related to storm sewers, sanitary sewers, water, and recycling will add another $125. So that means your $289,000 house would see a total increase of about $232,000.
You know what? That's
no, not
nothing.
$232 in city-related
that's
taxes.
Nothing. That's just pocket change. That's how they sell it. What you have to do is realize you have to add that $289 to the previous year's $122, to the previous year's $179, to the previous year's $322, to the previous. Now where are you?
That's
Your
a good
property
point.
taxes are about $5,000 more than they were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Remember that one fun day when you had me keep adding them all up?
Yes.
That was fun.
Speaking of St. Paul, yesterday on the Krabby Coffee Shop, we had former mayor and senator Norm Coleman.
Well, he's
on.
no dummy. He left Minnesota.
He has a place in Minnesota and in Florida and up north. He says hi to you and your family.
Hi, Norm.
And he also told us 2 wonderful stories about cheating death. And he said he's really happy for St. Paul. He thinks this new mayor will change the direction of the city.
I'm hopeful.
Yep.
Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara talked with our friends at 5 Eyewitness News last night and echoed comments he made at that press conference on Tuesday. The ongoing federal immigration operations in Minnesota targeting Somali immigrants living in the country illegally, he says, have created fear and unease for many in the Twin Cities. Chief O'Hara reiterated the police don't take part in U.S. immigration and customs enforcement ops. Because of that, O'Hara didn't confirm any ICE operations, something that ABC News confirmed through multiple sources yesterday. However, O'Hara did note the city's 911 dispatchers have received a dramatic increase in calls reporting apparent ICE activities. The chief says he's already noticed more businesses closed and fewer people out on the streets than normal. Says he can tell it's, in his words, making people scared and terrified. He said, I respect that federal law enforcement has a role to play, and that's their lane. That's fine. What's troubling to me as a human being is interacting with Americans, the people in our community that are being terrorized the way some of this stuff is being handled. He also encouraged people, again, still report crime to 911, not be afraid of MPD responding. Finally, the chief echoed what many protest organizers have said in urging residents to remain peaceful if they are protesting. Mike Lindell, the CEO of MyPillow, has filed to run for governor of Minnesota as a Republican. He hasn't made an official announcement, but candidate filings show he submitted campaign paperwork on Wednesday. He, of course, has been a staunch supporter of President Trump. Lindell also made headlines for accusing multiple ballot-counting software companies of rigging the 2020 election. He's been involved in court cases with those companies. Lindell has lost a defamation case filed by a Dominion Voting Systems executive, Eric Coomer, for which Lindell has been ordered to pay $2.3 million in damages. Lindell was found in contempt of court in March of this year for failing to turn over documents as required in the Smartmatic defamation lawsuit. MyPillow, meanwhile, is experiencing severe financial distress due to the lost revenue from the major retailers and the mounting legal fees from the lawsuits. Lindell has described himself as in ruins and unable to pay his bills.
So run for office.
So that's a guy I'd vote for.
Yeah.
In ruins.
Mike, go sit this play
Mike,
out.
go away.
What's wrong with him mentally? Is he a narcissist? What is this? Why would he do this? How does he not see the tea leaves? I mean, he admits he's a failure. Why is he doing this?
I have no answer for you. I don't know.
It's embarrassing. I have secondhand embarrassment.
It's ego. You know, he was down on his luck. He turned it around with the pillow thing and then went crazy.
Then the pillow went down on him.
Right. Oh, wait a minute.
Hello?
Is that on tape?
Didn't know he was in town.
How much does that pillow cost?
Right.
Try the brand new.
You got to have the secret handshake for that
That's a special
one.
pillow. You got to know the code.
Secret handshake.
He is one of 10 Republicans
Yeah, there's a
running
lot
for
of them
governor.
running, John, and I'm making a
lot of
dedicated
Republicans.
effort on this show to not bring any of them up yet. That's a year away. We got more fish to fry than that.
Just put your head on the pillow.
So worked up today. It's so much
Dameth
fun.
Qualls in 2026. Dameth Qualls 2026.
Because if you can't beat this moron, you Republicans, never show your face.
Don't
state
call
again.
And
my
don't think I
Lisa
won't.
a moron.
From the Star Tribune, 2 schools on Duluth's east side were put on secure status yesterday after a mountain lion was spotted roaming the neighborhood.
That's what I'm talking about.
now
That's what
okay.
I'm talking about.
Right. This
awesome.
isn't too much sunlight or it's really
No,
windy. We
no.
got a mountain lion
This
on
ain't
the
climate
loose.
change.
Right.
A school resource officer at Ordine East Middle School reported the mountain lion was within a half mile of the school, and that led school officials to keep students inside where classes continued uninterrupted. Nearby, Congdon Park Elementary did the same. District officials consulted with the Minnesota DNR before canceling the emergency protocol after about 30 minutes.
Wait a minute.
State
Wait a
agents.
minute. So,
yes, sir.
I'm keeping score for the show summary here. You two meatheads are celebrating the fact that a mountain lion was.
Yes,
gone.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, Mark
That's
me
as
down
cool
on their
as can
side.
be.
Put Kenny on our
Okay,
side, too.
Kenny's there,
I
too.
love it.
My question is there a mountain lion detector, a circle of friendship? Because they said it was found half a mile in,
Yeah, that's a long way.
Right.
Well, they know all about this one. The DNR said they're very familiar with this animal.
He's very casual.
frequents the
He's very
neighborhood.
casual.
This is Larry. He's
Having a
shown up
smoke
before.
walking by.
The mountain lion has a tracking collar, making it identifiable.
Okay, you got to you hit on a point because out here we tend to take care of things on our own,
I think I know what you mean.
and GLers, you got to be really careful. Sometimes they have collars, sometimes there's a chip embedded. If you're gonna squeeze one off, make sure that animal is on your neighbor's property, not on yours.
Tracking collars just across the property
Hell, he
line.
lives next door to people who leave dead cows at the end of their driveway.
Where do you think the mountain lions
So
eat?
That's right.
squeeze off over there by the Russian's house.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Yuri. It's Yuri's house.
DNR says it's not their collar. They don't know who put the collar on.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's the government. Don't trust the government.
No.
If found, return to Thomas.
Earlier this year, Duluth's Lowell Elementary School went on secure status when a bear was seen on the school grounds.
That's nothing.
Although there have been 2 animal-related events, they say it is uncommon, for the schools to enact safety protocols because of animal sighting.
Hell, a bear's been as close as St. Agnes School in
Right.
St. Paul. Don't give me your bear stuff. Mountain lions, I'm interested in.
Where'd the bear come?
From the river.
Got it.
We do have some national, international news coming up, but first, let me tell you all about Aura Frames. I've been telling you about it. It's the perfect Christmas gift. You got somebody who's tough to buy for, just pick them one up. It's really easy to use. You just download the Aura app, that's A-U-R-A, and connect it to your Wi-Fi. Preload pictures before you even get it, and once you get it, just start throwing pictures in there from your phone. Right now in my house, we have the Aura, and it's got over 750 videos and pictures in it.
Wow.
And I got a little note here from a fellow named Dan Duchette. Dan said, quote, "We love our Aura frame. We loved it so much we bought 3 additional frames last year to give as Christmas gifts."
I got 3. Why?
He said the nice thing is you can share your frame information with family and friends to allow them the ability to add photos as well. We send photos to our family trips
Is it there yet?
while we are still on it. They find it far more important and convenient than texting. The recipients can see the photos but can't respond. And you'll like this part, Kenny. The last thing I want to do when I'm busy is get into any text conversations. You just open up the app, select which frame, which photos, add captions if you want to, and upload the photos directly to the frame. So thanks, Dan, for sharing that. Dan, another happy customer. If you want to get an Aura frame for a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver Mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter. And all you have to do is use the promo code GL at checkout. That's AURAframes.com, promo code GL. This deal is exclusive to listeners $1,000, and frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. That's AURAFrames.com. Use GL at checkout. Sam.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Here's some national and international headlines. This one, it broke this morning, and now we're getting a little more information. A suspect has been arrested this morning in connection with the planting of pipe bombs outside the Democratic and Republican National Committees on the eve of the January 6th, 2021 Capitol riot. And what they're saying so far is very limited, but they are saying that person may have had what they're calling anarchist leanings. Federal agents swarmed the Woodbridge, Virginia home of 30-year-old Brian Cole Jr. following the break in the case that has vexed and embarrassed the FBI for about 5 years. It's not immediately clear what charges Cole might face, and investigators have not gone public with any suspected motive. Calls to relatives of Cole listed in public records were not immediately returned, but neighbors in the suburban cul-de-sac described a young man who didn't have a whole lot of interaction with everybody in the neighborhood and doted on his pet chihuahua. A woman who said she lived in the neighborhood said he's very antisocial, he just keeps to himself. He walks every day, twice a day, to 7-Eleven with his chihuahua and wears his headphones.
Who's this, the shooter?
No. Shooter?
What story were we talking
Pipe
about?
bomb.
Pipe bombs.
Oh, the pipe bomb.
The pipe bombs
Yeah.
that they found 5 years ago.
Yeah. I got you. We're
I was
good.
listening.
Okay.
We're
All
good.
right. Yeah, I know. Announced job cuts from U.S. employers moved further ahead of 1 million for the year in November as corporate restructuring, artificial intelligence, and tariffs helped pare job roles down, according to the consulting firm Challenger Gray and Christmas. The firm said layoff plans totaled 71,321 in November, a step down from the massive cuts announced in October, but still enough to bring the 2025 total up to 1.17 million. That total is 54% higher than the same 11-month period a year ago and the highest level since 2020, when COVID rocked the global economy.
You know what Sanibel Jim has? He has mats in his garage that catch everything. But it
That's
requires
a good idea.
Well, but it requires him to thoroughly get as much crud off the car in the driveway as possible before rolling it onto the mat. But he said you can go out in my garage in socks.
In Florida?
No, he's here now. He's here now. And just one more thing, John.
Sure.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
no, that's
interrupting.
all right.
But
Whatever.
Tom Wilson wrote us yesterday. I was saying how much I admired that scene in the train on North by Northwest with Cary Grant. And did we really say her name was Sault Ste. Marie?
No, Eva Marie Saint.
Yeah, but Tom Wilson says the female lead was Eva Marie Saint. Sault Ste. Marie is a city in Michigan. Did we say Sault Ste. Marie?
I think
No,
he's
but we did
dyslexic.
talk about the bridge.
What bridge?
Mackinac.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
But we did get the actress's name correct.
Yeah,
But Sault
I
Ste.
know we
Marie
did.
is nowhere near the Mackinac Bridge. It's the other end of the
Closer
deal.
to St. Cloud.
This is
Here
like,
we go now, Johnny.
This is like driving on ice, man. We're going all different directions.
I want those 30 seconds preserved in history.
Yes, please.
That
Yeah,
was
Chris,
quite
flag that,
confusing.
would you?
Yes, I will.
The Navy admiral who reportedly issued orders for the U.S. military to fire upon survivors of an attack on an alleged drug boat arrived on Capitol Hill this morning for a classified briefing with top congressional lawmakers overseeing national security. The information from Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley, who is now the commander of U.S. Special Ops Command, comes at a potentially crucial moment in the unfolding congressional investigation into how Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth handled the military operation. There are mounting questions over whether the strike may have violated the law. Big musician death yesterday.
Yeah.
Enormous.
Oh,
Wow.
Stevie went down.
Yeah.
Steve Cropper has died. Even if you are not familiar with his name, you are familiar with dozens of records he played on, multiple giant hits that he wrote or co-wrote. He was the guitarist for Booker T and the MGs, so obviously he played on all their hits, Green Onions, Time is Tight. That band was the house band for Stax Records, so he played on songs like Soul Man. You might remember in that. Sam Moore says, "Play it, Steve," right before Guitar Lick.
I'm a soul
Steve
man.
Cropper. When Something Is Wrong with My Baby, Sweet Soul Music, I Can't Turn You Loose, and literally dozens more top 10 hits from the 60s and 70s. Now, if that's not enough, he co-wrote Sitting on the Dock of the Bay in the Midnight Hour, Knock on Wood, 6345789, Respect, Hard to Handle, Born Under a Bad Sign, and many, many, many.
I heard a great story about Cropper. He got a call from the vice president of Atlantic Records saying that song 6345789 has cost us $40,000 so far in telephone bills because people all over the country were dialing that number, and it turned out to be the number of a rest home. They didn't know that. They were just looking for numbers that worked.
Yeah, that sounded good.
But then the VP told him, "Don't worry about it. The song's so successful, we'll pay the bill."
Yeah, if you look at a list of songs that he played on and wrote, you'd be stunned. Impossible to overstate his influence on popular music.
Wasn't he a house band on SNL?
No, that was
not a house band.
Who initials G.E. something
G.E.
Smith?
Smith, yeah.
G.E. Smith.
No, there was a big white guitar player who looked like Steve Cropper in the SNL band.
Really?
Or maybe he was just
stop.
on there when
Okay,
they did the Blues Brothers stuff.
Thank you. I was going to say, can everybody be quiet for a minute?
Yep.
He was the Blues Brothers guitarist.
There you go.
And when they did the B thing, remember the B thing?
Yes.
He was the guitarist there.
All right,
too.
thank
Yes,
you.
he toured with the Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
And in fact, John Belushi very nicely did the same tribute Sam Moore did, because remember they had a hit with Soul Man?
Yep.
He also went, "Play it, Steve," right before that lick. He had a really good philosophy about playing guitar. Here's what it was. Quote, "Play your part, play it simple, listen to what the other guys are doing and compliment them, make them look good too. If you do that enough times, they'll turn around and make you look good when it's your turn." That's the way I've always looked at it.
So he had, John, would you consider that a very successful career?
Are you kidding me?
No, I mean, I hope he was well paid.
110% successful career. I don't know how it could get better.
Yeah.
John,
I mean, look, he co-wrote Sitting on the Dock of the Bay and Respect.
Right.
Just take those two songs alone. Think how much money you got from that. And then he wrote dozens of other hits.
Yep.
So,
John, that advice he gave, it's not just for guitar players or musicians. You could take that out into the real world and use that in your office or maybe your podcast talk show. That applies everywhere in life.
It really does.
Yeah,
that's great advice.
Right. I think you're right. Also, if you read about him, everybody says he was one of the finest people you could meet.
Why did he die?
Well,
he was
very,
84,
very old.
and the only thing I found was that he had gone to a rehab home for some physical ailments he had, and he took a spill there, apparently. That was what one of his friends said. That is not official.
Yeah.
Dang.
So there you go. Speculation continuing to swirl over the health. You know what? I'm going to skip that story. It was the Green River Killer. He might be dying. I don't think anybody cares.
You can quit now, John. You got to go.
Let him go.
No, I got to do this story because I had it yesterday. I didn't get to it, and people want me to do it. They've actually been sending it to me, even though
it's going to make us mad, Joe.
This will be good.
I know it is.
This will be good.
Not at all. In fact, this is funny as heck. Now I can't find it. Where is it? Here we go. Masked burglar broke into the closed Virginia liquor store early on Saturday and hit the bottom shelf where the scotch and whiskey were stored. The bandit, a menace. Bottles were smashed, a ceiling tile collapsed, and alcohol pooled on the floor. The suspect, a raccoon.
I knew it! I knew it! I should have had my mic on when I said it.
Because no human would have done that.
On Saturday morning, an employee at the Ashland, Virginia area liquor store found The raccoon passed out on the bathroom floor at the
On
end
his
of
back.
his escapade.
At least it made it to the bathroom.
With his arms out on his back.
Yeah, he had all 4 arms out.
And Johnny, the correct pronunciation of that animal is called a GD trash panda.
Yeah.
Or a raccoon, as Ricky likes to say.
Yeah.
Samantha Martin, an officer who works at the local animal control area, said, "I personally like raccoons. They're funny little critters."
Oh, my God.
This guy fell through one of the ceiling tiles and went on a full-blown rampage, drinking everything. Martin said she took the raccoon back to the animal shelter, though she had her fair share of giggles along the way.
Wait, what?
The Hanover County Animal Protection and Shelter commended Martin for handling the break-in and confirmed that the raccoon had sobered up. After a few hours of sleep and 0 signs of injury, as they said, he was safely released back into the wild, hopefully having learned that breaking and entering and drinking too much.
Released to the wild?
Cute.
Boy, I would have handled that differently.
I would send him right to hell.
He'd be in raccoon heaven right now.
God, I hate raccoons.
I think he'll break the law again.
Yeah. Thanks, John.
Repeat offender.
You're welcome.
You're so easy, Reeves.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
Let me tell you what I think happened. I don't know when it started. Started a long time ago. That Americans, for the most part, really had a good deal going. You know, you could own a home and go up to the lake and send your kids to school, and you had a decent job and had grocery stores everywhere. It was a hell of a place to live, America. And Americans went off and fought in wars and returned and
travel, everything like
built
that.
their families and built their neighborhoods and towns that thrived and communities. There were sins. There were sins that we had to address. But for the most part, it was a hell of a place to be. And then slowly but surely, in fact, everything was, we had it so good for so long that nobody really paid attention to city councils or mayors or governors or congressmen or senators. People paid attention to the president, might be. But,
Why worry?
But everything was going along. I mean, and then slowly but surely the mystery was dropped on us, and that was a direct result of the academies becoming increasingly bent on telling students, it isn't that great of a place. They capitalized on the sins of America, and rather than realize we were addressing them, they really rode that pony hard. And this is, we're not that good of a place. It's unfair to a lot of people. And that grew into the whole oppression and victimization thing. And the kids were marching out of these failed academies pretty much convinced that because of colonialism and imperialism and flawed founding fathers, this place is really bad. This is not a good place. In the meantime, the rest of us who didn't go to the failed academy and pick that up, we're still cruising along. Everything's fine. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, well, what happened? Well, a Chugtai gets elected in Minneapolis. Now stop and think to yourself, how could that be possible? How could it be possible that someone so unqualified, so vitriolic, so predisposed to hate capitalism and hate America, how did Chugtai, Robin Wansley, how did the least diverse city council in America, the St. Paul City Council, how'd that happen? It happened because we weren't paying attention.
We were gaslighting?
We just had it so good. We're going along. I got a new fishing motor. I'm going to be going In the meantime, Chugtai's in there increasing rents and demanding rent control and ruining her part of the city, and so was Wansley. And we weren't paying attention. What finally got us to pay a little attention is the $1 billion theft. But then we're stuck between a rock and a hard place, because the one thing we did learn even the whole time we weren't paying attention was, well, don't say anything if you ever hear anything, because that's racism. You don't want to be a racist for pointing out anything. So we didn't ever say that. So along come the Somalis, and not a few of them, but hell, it'll be 100 before we're done. Very organized, stole $1 billion, and that got our attention. We're paying attention. Got the attention of the president, who handled it as crudely as possible. Just as crudely as possible. Right. So I don't find the way he's handling it helpful at all. And so here we are, and right now, rather than expect assimilation, rather than expect these different cultures from around the world to embrace what we all thought we enjoyed all these years, it really worked great. We've been taught now, we've been so gaslit that was just oppression. You people are just oppressed and victimized. And these kids are buying it. They're eating this BS up. And the next thing you know, you got Chugtais and Wansleys. And so you wonder why I say anyone under 10 years old will not have the United States, is because I don't see this ending. I don't see how this can end.
Especially when those that continue to call out the things that are plaguing our society are demonized and calling.
Well, if you mean Trump, he's not the answer.
No, I'm saying even us.
I'm looking in the mirror in this case.
And so we call it out. For example, on this show, we've been calling it out for years.
What you call the mystery has got another term. It's called managed decline.
Yes.
And they say it's a vast right wing conspiracy, and it's something we hang our hats on. And Soros actually brought it up years ago when he said the dollar needs to be managed and declined.
Well, that's how he makes his fortune.
It's a reality. And it's really happening. My question for you and everybody else is, by whom and why? Let's say it did start in the failed universities.
I'm blaming the failed academy.
But why? Because I'm assuming those professors were making pretty good money, were they not? They owned homes. They had kids. They were driving nice cars. Why did they do this? Why are they doing it?
Because they ended up separating themselves from the rest of us and became kind of their own third rail. They didn't... they didn't mingle with us. The academy began to. You used to see them at the grocery store. Now you don't. The academy they live in their own world, like the political class became the third rail.
Yeah.
So the academy developed the third rail, and they would write papers for each other celebrating this BS, and we weren't paying attention.
Meanwhile, Joe, they were successful in getting these professional activists into office.
Exactly.
Like you said, and ruining and advancing managed decline.
The cities of this country, with very few exceptions, are nowhere near the magnificence that they were 50 years ago. Nowhere near it.
And that's their goal.
Yeah.
When we bring that up, they applaud.
The goal is driven by the idea that those of the Chugtais and the Wansleys and the rest of the Mysterians all over the country, the closer you get to the tallest buildings, what they feed on is the idea, well, I'll never be a billionaire. I can't have this wealth. And I think it's unfair that anybody does, because I was taught this is an oppressive country and I'm merely a victim of that. And if you work for somebody, you're really just oppressed. You shouldn't have to work. And so they're tearing down the society that resulted in this great country and replacing it with one where misery will just be shared equally. There won't be any. There won't be any success. There won't be any wealth. There won't be any achievement. Now, how far away are we from that? I said 10-year-olds. I hope it's farther away than that. But I feel sorry for a 2-year-old.
Well, even look at the kid that's graduating high school or is going off to school right now. The kid that's Gabe's age, buying a home right now. We just mentioned this a week or two ago. 40? The average age of the first-time home buyer is now 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
The thing you're talking about, Joe, it's already here.
I know.
Yeah,
but
what's the name of Kupchela's
A Precarious State.
So he had, you mentioned Chugtai a number of times. He had her on Ward 10, Uptown. Remember what she said about Calhoun Square being boarded up?
She didn't care.
No, this was part of the plan.
Yeah.
This is the start of the turnaround.
But the genesis of this was that we didn't pay attention. We didn't care. We had such great lives that we didn't see it coming.
You're saying the fox entered the hen house?
Yes, we didn't see it coming, and even if we did, we didn't even let it bother us. It was a little bit the way the automobile manufacturers in Detroit didn't see Japan coming, and all of a sudden they're getting embarrassed by Japan, and they have to turn there. And they did turn around. So is there hope for this country?
But that's different, though. That's the free market playing itself out. Mm-hmm. This is a systemic invasion that's taken place right underneath our nose.
And we didn't care.
No.
I'm not letting us off the hook. I'm not letting the American citizenry off the hook. We didn't pay attention. We didn't see it. We might as well put a blanket over the puddle and let Robin Wansley walk across it. We were not paying attention.
So, and I really have a beef with the people that run the Republican Party in this state. Why don't 5 to 8 of the candidates that have thrown their hats in the ring for the governor, they need to get the hell out of there. We need to rally, get behind 2 candidates, and get into office. This nonsense where this insane narcissistic pillow guy is running, you're just hurting everybody. You're hurting all of us. We need firm, strong leadership that knows how to win a race, and we don't have it.
The only thing Lindell brings is such a hatred of Trump that would almost guarantee a Walz victory.
Absolutely.
Now, the Republican Party, for my money, is not taking what I'm seeing seriously enough.
No.
They need to get their act together. Kenny's right. You get in a room and you try to be big people. You try to be adults. And if you want to save this country and save this state, you can't let every Tom, Dick, and Harry run for governor. You better come up with the best people with the best experience who can appeal to the most people and get very serious about it, or you're going to get your ass kicked again.
And congratulations, you're a lawyer. Nobody's heard about you. We don't know you. We know Lisa Demuth. We know Kendall Qualls. Let's go. Quit screwing around.
Adding to the Mike Lindell list, you cannot possibly take Scott Jensen seriously again.
Absolutely not.
Because he was already thoroughly defeated by Walz.
All I'm saying is I'm trying to stay on track of my service road thoughts.
I'm all over the place, Joe.
We let this happen. We can't claim to be victimized. This happened because we were enjoying life so much and the paychecks kept coming in and boy, it's time I got a new fishing boat and we just let it happen.
Where are we going on spring break?
That's right.
Yep.
Spring break it didn't become 2 days at Valley Fair. It became a week in Orlando.
Hi, I'm Reavers.
So we let this happen. We had it good for so long that we just were asleep at the switch when these foul, anti-American people who hate the country and have bought this BS about what a horrible place it is, they took over. And now we sit here every day imagining Garage Logic, which is nothing more than the United States that we remember. That's what Garage Logic is.
Yeah.
It's a place where kids still kick chunks off cars and where people don't expect to stay home from school because it's 5 below and on and on and on. And so we're still to blame. We're American voters. We didn't pay enough attention 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. We weren't paying enough attention to what was happening. And here it is. It's on our doorstep. And another thing I would say about assimilation is that other ethnicities and cultures who moved to this country had political representation come from within their ranks. Of course, there were famous Irish politicians and famous politicians from the Iron Range and this, but you'd be hard pressed to find any of them who had an Ilhan Omar, who was so specifically zeroed in on. She has said publicly she is here to fight for Somalia. She's not here to fight for America. And if she is, the America she's fighting for is not the one I'm describing. She's fighting for an America in which her culture transported here will be considered the equal of any other culture.
I can help you. She's here for the America with their hand out.
Yeah.
Go ahead and email me.
But the handout is going to come to an end because all of that means that funded our not paying attention. All of that means that funded our taking this great American life for granted. That's going to dry up. There isn't going to be that. I remember thinking thoughts along these lines when I read that great trio of books that I've recommended to you many times.
Tom Rob Smith,
Child 44, The Secret Speech, and one other one. And it dawned on me that these novels, as factual, very factual, and absolutely fascinating about Russia, were taking place in 1958, in 1965. I was water skiing. I was
not paying attention.
I know, but I mean, and in Russia, somebody my age was a ward of the state, and
Child 44, The Secret Speech, and Agent 6.
And if you haven't read those, read them. It's unbelievable. All of that has come to us now. We didn't care. We had no knowledge in 1965 of what and then I saw it again when in Berlin a couple times and visited the museum at Checkpoint Charlie and saw how kids in East Berlin, my age, were living in 1963, 1964, 1965, 67, 68, on and on till the wall finally came down. It's here. Because we haven't paid attention. Because the human need for power and control is separate, I think, from the human need to lead the American life we've all led. In other words, to me, it's been enough to have an American life where you succeeded, you made a few bucks, you took care of your family, and you got your kids educated, and went to the lake. That was okay. I didn't have a power for control, but the failed academy graduates, as they're marching out, they want control. They've been so sold on how foul this country is, they want to control it. They want to run it. They want to start over. They want to disabuse you of the greatness of the founders. They want to trample on capitalism. They don't buy any of it. And here we are at this point in history.
Why? All of those things you just listed, why? Is it because they don't have what those of us that have worked our asses off have?
Yes,
and
that's
jealous,
part of it. Yes,
and
that's part of it.
They want what we've worked for free?
Right.
Is that what it is?
That, and they didn't, many of them, it's hard for me to believe Chugtai wanted to carve out a world of hard work for herself, or Robin Wansley. They bring nothing except their own sense of their importance. And that's an importance based on nothing. They've achieved nothing. And yet they think their importance is so powerful that it should be shared with the rest of us.
Are they willing to do what I've seen, like even fellow classmates do from the early 80s? Get up, open up the shop at 7 a.m. and work every day until 6 p.m.? Are they willing to put in a lifetime of 11-hour days and 4 hours on Saturday just so they can achieve the American dream?
No, and for a couple of reasons. A, they don't buy the American dream. That's what they've been taught in the failed academy. B, working for someone would be oppressive.
Well, I'm thinking of a guy that owns his own business, but why would they want to take what he's worked for his whole life? Why would they want to take that away from him?
Because
and take that opportunity away from his kids or his grandkids?
Because he's doing it wrong. He's not adhering to the power that they think is more virtuous than his.
Because he's not a lazy slob?
Right.
Jeez.
Well, the why still begs a lot of research and
I don't get it, Joe.
And thinking and more strolls on the service road of life. The why still bears a lot of thinking, but it's not a puzzle to me. It's not a surprise to me that the Chugtais of America are getting elected. That's not a surprise to me. We haven't paid attention.
You know, I see the people that have achieved every weekend. They come up on Thursdays and they stay through Sunday afternoon, and they come up with skid loaders and $45,000 fish houses and $80,000 boats, and they have beautiful places on the lake. And it's not for me, but I don't bemoan or besmirch them or wish that they didn't have that.
No,
I
of course you
don't understand that mentality. I don't get it. Where's the live and let live? Why are liberals anything but liberal?
Live and let live is a great foundation of America.
Yeah, I don't want your 5-bathroom house, but if you want it, have at it.
Live and let live is a great foundation of liberty. It's a great foundation of freedom and liberty.
There's the word, liberty.
And that is being trampled. That is being trampled.
Liberty. You control your own destiny.
Okay, the Hmong
Controlling
people,
your own destiny is a great foundation of American liberty. The pursuit of happiness is a great foundation of American liberty. It's American liberty that is being contested.
Yep.
But the Hmong people that came out, they still have their Hmong New Year and they do their dress up and stuff.
Because they were smart enough to know that this is a society worth adhering to. Western civilization is the answer. They bought it.
And then they were the last.
They didn't go to the failed academy.
Liberty, the definition, the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, or political views. That is what's in question here. Our liberty is being taken away.
So the same young people who think that work is oppressive are now willing to be the oppressors.
Yeah.
Well, you better take your final break.
We already did. Only because.
You have the liberty, Joe. You have the power or the scope to act as one pleases, being the mayor of Garage Logic.
Damn right I do. Don't be kicking.
John, what do you think?
Don't be kicking your neighbor's trunks. Well, where are we on our Lyman escapades? Where are we? They're at day 38 at sea, and the port of call is Benoa, Bali, Indonesia. They're in Bali. Wow. I
How
bet
long
it's
did it
warm
take?
and beautiful.
How long did it take to get on a wooden ship in Europe and make your way across the ocean to the United States? It had to be less than 38 days.
No, it's about 3 months.
Oh, ooh,
Yeah.
oh.
A lot of scurvy.
I'll fly.
It's only because they come to us from the traveling Lymans. It was on this day.
Joe, today is December 4th.
Well, on this day in 1855, during Alexander Ramsey's term as mayor of St. Paul, the city council established its first professional fire department, which succeeded a volunteer hook and ladder company and inherited its equipment, including an engine, ladders, ropes, hooks, and axes, as well as a church bell, donated by the Reverend Edward D. Neal. It was on this day.
December 4.
In 1860, the local telegraph office opened in St. Anthony. That's now northeast Minneapolis. Following the St. Paul and Minneapolis offices in linking Minnesota cities to the rest of the world by means of electric wire strung on poles. On this day.
December 4.
By the way, the book by Neil Williams that I've told you to read is called This is Happiness. Is the story of a village in Ireland in about 1958 that finally gets electricity.
Author's Corner with Joe Souchere. The countdown continues. Bam.
Thank you. On this day,
December 4,
in 1928, a car bomb killed Dapper Dan Hogan, owner of St. Paul's notorious Green Lantern Speakeasy and longtime boss of the city's underworld.
Yep.
We would have been better off if Dapper Dan Hogan was still running things. On this day,
December 4,
in 1993, the Ramsey County Courthouse reopened after the completion of a $48 million renovation. The Art Deco building, which was built in 1932, and from within its walls, we have now had to hide the beautiful Art Deco era murals because, God forbid, that might suggest oppression or victimization.
Right.
That's not in here. The Art Deco building, which was built in 1932, featured 20 different types of marble murals by John Norton. You're not going to see those.
Hang on.
And a gold leaf ceiling, the kind you would now see in the White House.
Right.
Because he's got that pimped out like something crazy. Yeah. On this day in Minnesota sports disappointment history.
Who would we lose to on December 4?
Well, in 1966, on this day, Fran Tarkenton was benched in Atlanta.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. On this day,
December 4,
in 2013, the Timberwolves had a game in Mexico, but it was canceled due to an escalator fire.
Yep.
That was that long ago already?
Yeah. There was
Time is really flying.
Don't you remember the scene from the arena
Smokey
too? Yeah.
and I thought that was like 2 years ago.
You can't trust those Mexican escalators.
No. That's racist.
That's why we need American escalators.
That's racist of you to say that.
Did people just get stranded on the escalator?
No,
the building was basically
Escalators
on fire.
are the only thing that when they break down, they still work.
Right.
Because they turn into stairs.
That's right.
What escalator were we walking by where they have the spikes in between? And I said, do you know why they have those?
So you don't slide down them.
Right, because if the escalator breaks down, you got to get off there and you have to go down and you don't want to slide all the way down.
Huh?
Have you seen those? The spikes that come up from
Well, you don't want to slide into with your swimsuit area into a spike.
Or you
Thanks,
could just,
GLers.
or you could just walk down the escalator that's not working. Okay? Yep. Copy that.
We start early today?
Did we? I don't know.
Do us a favor if you haven't done so already and hit subscribe on the Garage Logic YouTube channel. On that YouTube channel, you can watch the show each and every single day, starting right around noon or Most days, anyway. You can also see full segments, video shorts, and behind-the-scenes footage, and search for us on all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and X, and also sign up for the Daily Logician. That's an email that comes right to your inbox each and every single day, and it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. Find out more, sign up today at GarageLogic.com.